Okay, guys, welcome to the afternoon session of A Day with Zenler. So what I'm going to do, we're a little bit before 3 o'clock, so I just need to check my setup. So I'm just going to go and turn the camera and mute myself just while I check that the feed's coming through all okay. And then we'll start at 3, which is in about 3 minutes' time. Okay, so afternoon session with A Day with Zenler. So in this session, what we're going to look at, we did the morning session earlier and we had a quick look at the educational side of things. So that is in session 1. We also looked at simple and practical design skills. These are easy skills that you can implement. Then we went on to actually creating a fully fledged marketing funnel that uses a kind of quiz or survey. So you could use it for both. And that was the session 2. We had quite a lot of people. Session 1, that was quite a lot of people were joining in on that, everything. So in this session, what we're going to do is we're going to look at creating media with Canva and Pixlr, because it's a bit fun to do, and everyone needs to create really good media for their site or their courses, or or anything really to do with your instructor school or membership site. So we're going to have an open Q&A session. So if there's not many questions coming in, I'll try and answer questions as we go through the actual events that I've got lined up. And then we're going to end up at 5 o'clock. We're going to be building a quick course and looking at the pricing options, which often confuses people. So then we're going to wrap up and then it will be the end of this. So we run Day with Zenler last Friday of every month. Easy to remember, just mark it in your calendar. And this is streamed directly into the Facebook group. So as long as you're there between 9 and 12 GMT time, or between 3 and 6 GMT time in the afternoon, then you get a chance to come on here and have your say about things in general. So also I'd like for you guys, I know there's about 3 people viewing this live session at the moment, probably on replay. There'll be a few more. So what I'd like from you is for you to put hashtag live if you're live, or hashtag replay if you're watching the replay, and also where you're from. Now, because this is an educational slot and we're showing you things about the platform, it's always nice to have a little bit of feedback on what you want to see. So like in the next Day with Zenler, what do you want us to look at? What do you want us to concentrate on? I don't mind if it's been done before. If you need us to recap it because you want to get on there and ask questions, you know the time that we're on here. It's the last Friday of every month. And if you just want to write those questions down, then we have an idea, or have an idea to put that into the schedule next time. Now, a little bit of a sneak preview for the next one. We're actually going to be inviting some special guests in from some of the platforms. So I'll talk about that nearer the time. So platforms, why not integrations? So maybe there'll be someone from Google. Maybe there will be someone from Zapier. You know, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I'm just saying that they could be here doing a demo to show you how to use that stuff. So if you want to see all that stuff, then just give me the thumbs up. So I can see we have Piper in. Good morning, or it's good afternoon here. And John's in. Hi, John. Good to see you. So John's he's always on our workshops and things. So it's always lovely. He does actually on a live build. He played the ukulele for us. Ukulele. And that was really good as well. You can find that live build on our YouTube channel. So that's youtube.com/c/Zenler. And down the bottom under the live build, you're going to find John in there. And he gives us a lovely rendition on his ukulele. And I've actually pronounced it correctly this time. So fabulous. So we're going to jump straight in, 3 minutes past 3. But it's okay. I'm going to run over this. You might, John, I know John's been in, and I think Piper has on the media creation. So this might all be a bit familiar to you. Yeah. So Piper's, haha, my mistake. 9 a.m. Kansas time. Yeah. Yeah. So it's it's the afternoon here, and it's getting darker and darker. You're going to see the light drop as the sun goes down. So yeah, right, let's get on with it, and let me do some screen sharing. I'm going to show you what I'm going to first do is I'm going to show you a site that I'm actually working on. This is going to be a live site. Now, for you guys that already know me, you'll know that I do digital sculpting. So I work with a program called Zbrush. I've worked with quite a few digital programs, but these are the ones that really people buy into for courses. So I do digital sculpting. So I'm launching a brand new site, which is actually based on organic and sort of mechanical fusions of sculptures. So I basically sculpt something. It might be half a robot and half like a butterfly or something. And I do that and make it look beautiful in there. And I sell that as courses, as individual courses. And that's what I do on my master site, which is Mojo Mojo. But I'm launching this new site. And I just want to show you, I'm doing this all in Zenler, and I'll be show reeling this because I'm going to be adding quite a few kind of advanced features to show you just how powerful this platform is. Now, it will use coding and things in it when it's finished. So it's not going to be something that I'm going to cover, but it's going to show you the potential of the platform itself. So I'm just going to share my screen. And this is a landing page that I've set up. There is no header menu. There is no footer menu on this particular page. And it's Zbrush Biomechanica. Now, this is a homage to an artist called H.R. Geiger, who did all the stuff for Aliens, if you guys remember. And he's a great artist, and he produced all these amazing kind of fusion of mechanical and organic parts. And it's basically based on that. So this is the copper version, or the gold copper version, but there's also going to be another side of it that's kind of machiner, and that's going to be a silver version. But this is all done in Zenler. So you can see what I've done here is I created a landing page. So I haven't created the site yet finished. It's going to have this look and feel about it, but inside of on the actual site when it's finished and the courses, it will follow this flow. But I've turned all that off. I've created a home page and a logged in page, and this is the page. There's no header. I've deleted that, and I've deleted the footer off the bottom. But there is a place to put your name and your email. So I'm gathering leads before I've created anything. This is a really big thing. I could market this now without any content. And I have done in the past. I've done live workshops and I've marketed those to get an interest and see how many people are coming in. And then I've created the content if there's a lot of people, and then I can sell it to them. And then you're sort of guaranteed, pretty much guaranteed, of that income coming in. So it can be a really powerful way of doing it. It's just all done inside of Zenler. Of course, you know, the background I've created here and the Biomechanica part here and Zbrush, that was obviously done in a professional piece of software to design the way it looks like a piece of metal coming out. But the rest, all this is live text here. And you can see this is all part of Zenler. with a background image, and then just this as a transparent PNG file. So it shows you can create some amazing, stunning stuff inside the platform. And this is just one thing I'm working on. So I will be showcasing this, and it might well feature in some of the live workshops I'm doing. So be prepared to see this sort of stuff come up and know what it's all about. And we're going to look at something a little bit simpler than that. We're going to look at the dog training site that we did this morning. So we did this little dog site here, and we set this up. We took the header away from the top. If you look in session 1, this was the first thing we worked on. It took about 20 minutes. And we just did this, no footer. We just did a way of grabbing people or leads into the platform before we have launched. So we want to take it a stage further, and we want to start playing around with images and those sort of things, because all of these were just grabbed from the site. So it was actually just put in there. I went into the search, uploaded an image background, just did a search on dog, took this lovely image, dropped it in there. It doesn't take very long at all. So if you want to create other content inside here, we're going to do that. So I'm going to leave this page as is, and I'm going to do a duplicate of the page. This is the page that you were just looking at. So inside the site, I'm going to just do a little duplicate of this page, and I'll just call this let's just call it dog page. And I'm going to use this as a placeholder to show you what images are looking like when we created them. So page, and click update. And I haven't published it, so this is not published. So this is exactly the same. I'm going to come into the editor for this page so that I've got it all ready so I can drop images in. Right, so the programs we're going to use today is going to be Canva. And we're going to be showing Canva. We're going to be looking at Pixlr. We're going to be looking at Pixabay to get our images from. So John's did ask for us to look at the UK West page, but John, no, we're not going to be looking or showcasing your site to show the processes. I need to talk to you a bit more about that. John was going to come on to show the UK West site that he's built, and I kind of was helping him with how the functionality it works, but I really need to spend a bit of time looking at it. We don't want to turn a day with Zenler into a kind of promotional thing. So I'll be talking to you about that later, John, and maybe feature you in one of our private Sunday lives or something. That would be cool. Right. So let's jump to one of the programs. So Canva, this is what I'm using here is free accounts. So I have got the pro version of this with Zenler, but with Zenler's account, but I'm using the free one. The reason I'm using free is because I want you guys that haven't subscribed to this to be able to do the same things that I'm showing you. Now with Pixlr, that's pixlr.com, you're going to, this again is free. So I'm going to be using this Pixlr advanced photo editor. So you can sign up for this absolutely free. And of course, we've got Pixabay, which is free as well. And you know, this is hooked into our Zenler site, so you can pull images from there. And I'm going to show you a few nifty things that you can do in all of these programs. Now, I have done a video on our YouTube channel about media creation, so I'm not going to go into great detail. What I want to do is just show you some effects and things that you can get in these programs. So just as a kind of outline to give you some inspiration and say, oh, that's the sort of thing that I want to do, or I'd like to play around a little bit more with this free software without having to pay for anything and that sort of thing. So let's go in first of all to Canva. And we're going to create a simple little bit, a logo or something, you know, we can create whatever we want. So a lot of people get stuck with like, what should I do? You know, what size should the document be? And these sort of questions. So what I say is always do it to start with for any kind of like logos on the screen or any kind of like course cards, these sort of things. Always do it 1920 by 1080, because if you do it at that ratio, then it will fit the ratios inside of Zenler. Okay, it's actually twice as big. So I think it's a bit more. So it will fit that ratio. So I always say stay with 1920 width by 1080, then you haven't got to think about anything else. A lot of people are like, what's the exact size for this? What's the exact size for that? I only ever work 1920 by 1080 unless I'm doing a long logo, and then I overdo it. I do it like 2000 pixels width, because when I bring it into the Zenler system, it will actually optimize it anyway. So let's go and click 1920 by 1080 and click create new design. So it's going to give me a flat design like this, where I can start to play around with stuff. So we have lots of templates already in here. If you go to things like text, you're going to get all these nice effects going on in here, but you can create all of these yourself. So we're just going to play around with just doing a little bit of text. So I'm going to grab the heading. You can grab any of these, by the way, and we're going to drag it into the canvas like that. Okay. So I'm going to put this, I'm going to call this my dog. And I will then, right, so that's my first bit. Then I'm going to click on this little move icon, and I'm going to hold the Alt key. So I'm now pressing the Alt key, and I'm going to drag this, and you'll see it will make a copy of it. So just a speedy tip there. So training site. So we start with something like that. Now we can play around. So I'll close this off. We're going to go and choose a typeface. So up here, once you close those tabs down, you can close them down by clicking in here. We can then have a play. So one, we can change the size in here. We can obviously make it italic, underlined, uppercase or lowercase. We can change the alignment. We can add effects. We can animate. We're going to look at those in a second. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to pick a nice font, sort of a scripty font, something like that. I think there's one called Carton. There it is. Oops. That's not it. Carlson script. There we go. So that's something like that. And then I think I'll take this and I'll turn it into, and you can play around with these fonts, and that's all right. This is where you can have a bit of fun. And I don't want to stay too long on doing these same things because it is just playing around. So let's take something like that. Okay. So also I can drag and make the size bigger by clicking the side there. So I'm going to go my dog training site. And I'm going to play around with this little logo here. So I'm looking to kind of fit that in there. I'm just playing around now. So I'm clicking in here. I'm going to make it a nice color. Remember, if you looked at session 1, you would have seen like our branding and things. So colors I'm going to kind of go with is probably going to be something like a blue or this kind of color. And then we're going to add an effect to it. So I'm going to leave the training site at the bottom. I'll probably leave that in black. Might make it a bit bolder, reduce the size down a bit. Could even put it up there. Does that look better? Doesn't look too bad. And I'm going to click back on the my dog because I can see I just need to change a little bit about the letter spacing. Watch when I drag this, it will push it together. So you've got control over this. So that looks good to me. You've also got control over the line spacing. That's the gap between the lines. So that's that. Good. All right. So let's go in here. Okay, John, I shall chat to you later. I know you're quite a busy man running around. So right, let's get into this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add a cool effect to it. So we're going to go into effects. And over here, we have all these style effects. And one that's quite good to use is shadow. So all of them have got their own little settings in them. You can definitely play around with these. And this is how all these special effects were created down here. It was just basically with the effects buttons. So if you understand how they work, you can create your own. So we'll go back into effects. I'm going to click shadow. Watch what happens when I click shadow. There we go. So what it does is it takes the main color and it actually adds a transparency to it. But not only that, you can come in here and you can change it. So I can change it to this, another color completely, and I can change the transparency of it if I want to. So I can make it lighter or harder. Look at this as well. I can blur it. So I can add some real blur to it like this, giving that kind of neon effect. I can also change the direction of it as well. Watch how it moves around when I change this. Really quite cool. So I'm going to change that blur, make it solid, and change this back so it's kind of like that. And you can set an offset as well, so you can push it away like this. So you've got this real good control over all these little assets and creating your own logo. So this in its own right, this could be a little logo that you use for your site. So I might want to choose something like that for that. And then I've got a logo created in Canva. So how do I get this out? Well, I can get it out by actually just downloading it. But the problem is, if you've got the free version of Canva, you can't export it out with a transparent background. Now, what do I mean by transparent background? Well, transparent background is basically it cuts out all this white that's underneath it. So it means the only thing that's exported out is the actual color image itself. So it means by doing that, you can put it on the top of other things. And that's what I did with the Zbrush site in here. You can see that this little logo here is floating, and it floats above everything else. Do you see how it floats and that image underneath is moving around? Now, this is something people do all the time. They actually produce an image out with the text in position. The problem with that is as you go smaller onto mobile devices, then that image will get smaller and the text will get smaller with it. So by doing this, it just floats on the top and it'll only reduce down once you're starting going down. See that? So it still becomes easy to see, you know, and it floats on the top of the background image that's running around. So that has a transparency behind it, a cutout behind it. Most of you will have images and they'll be in little square blocks. And that's okay. But if you want it cut out because you're going to use it on the background, then you're going to want to use it in transparency. So lucky for us, we can use Pixlr to take away the background. So we got this. This is the free program. And if you've got the pro version, you can export it as a PNG with a background. So if I went to this, I could export it with a transparent background. But if you're using the free version, you're not going to be able to download it. All right, so you're not going to have that option. So what you need to do to get rid of this white, you've got to make sure it's a high contrasting color to the background. And this is white, and you've got this bright color. So it's a high contrast color. So it's easy to pull that color away inside Pixlr. So we're going to choose a JPEG. I'm going to make sure that the quality of this JPEG is 100%. I don't want to lose any quality when I download it. And then I want to hit the download button. And that will download. So that's downloading now. If I now open up my download folder, you will see that image in here. And you can see it on a white background. So I want to now jump into Pixlr, where I'm going to load this image in and remove the background. Before I do that, I'm going to show you what you get with what we've got so far. So I'm going to come in here and we're just going to call this image 1 background, just so it's clear, so you can see the difference when we do this. So I've got that image 1, it's in my download folder. So I'm going to jump into the page editor here and I'm going to drop that image in. It doesn't matter where I drop it, I'm just going to put it in here. Just select the image, click upload image and find that image, which is in my downloads folder, and we'll click open. And I'm going to, you can crop it in here if you like as well. Doesn't matter. And I click crop and upload, and it's going to have this white box around it. So, you know, that's good, but I want that image to show through underneath, you know, and that's where people fall into this trap of putting that image in there and then putting that logo on the top of it. And then it doesn't move and it scales differently, and it's it's not good. So we want to remove this white. We haven't got the free version of Canva, so we're going to have to use Pixlr to remove the color information. So let's jump into Pixlr. That's Pixlr. And I'm going to put these into the chat just so you guys can see. So I'm dropping the Pixlr in there for there. And probably all of you know about Canva anyway. I'm also going to put the link to the video on media creation as well, so that you've got that. And we will eventually be using Pixabay. So I'm going to copy that in there as well, just to show you how you can use that. And this is just to have a bit of fun. So let's jump into Pixlr. I'm going to go straight into the Pixlr Advanced Photo Editor. And I'm going to go Open Image. I'm going to go and find that image, which is there. And I'm going to click Open. And it will now appear in here. Now, it's saying your privacy choices and things, but I'm going to go Agree and Proceed. And what we can do is, hold on, right. So a big thing here, Pixlr is quite close to the program I use, which is Photoshop, but it's not exactly the same. So if I'm a bit slow with any of these things, it's only because this is not what I generally use. So I'm using the Control minus on the keyboard, hold the Control key, hit the minus or the plus to zoom in and out. And I'm going to choose this little magic wand here. Let's click that magic wand, right? And we're going to make sure feather is on 0. And I'm going to click in here once. And do you notice what's happened? It's actually selected the white. So I think we can get it to select similar, where you can in Photoshop, maybe not in this. Let's add to the selection here. Click add to the selection. I'm going to click in there. So we're basically trying to create wherever there's white, we're clicking in those areas because we're going to want to cut it out. So I think that's all the white areas there. So we've got little what's called marching ants. That's what we call it in the trade. And these little marching ants are going to cut it out. So all I need to do now is I need to hit the backspace on the keyboard and it will cut it out. See this checker around the outside, or this checker, this is showing it's transparent. So I can now deselect. So select, deselect. And this is what we've got. It's not perfectly cut out, but guys, you know, it's a free program to use. It's a good enough way of doing it. So now I have this, I can export this out. So if I now save this out, if I go to export and we go export image as a PNG file. Yes, not as a JPG file. JPEGs, JPGs do not hold what's called an alpha or a transparency. PNGs do. There's a few other formats that do, but just think PNG. So we're going to go quick export image as PNG. You're going to see it's going to download here. I'm going to go into my folder now. There it is. And I'm going to label this transparent. There we go. And now I'm going to jump into my page and we're going to load it up. Let's go to image, upload the image. There it is. Click open. And look, it's already transparent. You can see that like checkerboard behind it. So let's click crop and upload. And now we have got it without the background. So I can delete that one out. And now we have our image in here, which obviously I'd bring down a bit. It's a bit too big. And we have a perfectly cut out logo, which can go into our site. Click save. Let's preview this. Can we close that one down? Okay. Save and preview. And here we go. So now we have this. You're going to see that it will float over the top of the image because it is a cut out PNG file. And that is how we can cut it out. Now you can do some amazing things. Like now what we're going to do is we're going to jump into, you got the knowledge that you can cut out shapes and you can put them into the site. So there is other ways that we can do this. So if you go into Pixabay, here's Pixabay, and we search for something like dogs, okay, you have under here some options, and probably a lot of you haven't even touched these options and haven't really played around with them, but you definitely should, because one of the options in here is color. So if I click color, and we have this option for transparent, if I click transparent and I click go, it's going to give me all images that are cut out. So you might find an image in here that's perfect for your little doggy and say, yeah, I'm going to use that one. So if I go and use this crazy dog here, that's got a little bit of a smile, funny character, and I've got him there like this, I can now click free download. I'm going to choose, I don't want him to be big, so I'm going to choose like 552. Now you'll get used to sizes. Remember 1920 by 1080 is like the size of your screen. So this will kind of be about half. So you'll get used to using pixel sizes as you work with them. But I'm going to go to, actually, I'll do it at 1104 and I'm going to click download. Notice the file type, PNG. Notice this file type, SVG. This is a vector graphics, okay? It's a smart vector graphic and it's scalable. So it scales at scale vector. So it allows you to take it into programs such as Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, and play around with it. And SVGs, you might notice that we use an SVG format for our certificates. So that gets you thinking. So let's do 1104 and click download. So you're going to see that's going to download down here. Again, that's gone into my download folder. There he is. It looks like he's on a white background, but he's really not because he's on a transparent. So now I'm going to put that into my little site as well. So I'm going to go back to my edit page. I'm going to go and create a 2-column for this. So I'm going to go into here and create a 2-column. So I've got a 2-column, 1 row. I'm going to go in here for the image now, and I'm going to go to the text, to the image, and I'm going to upload this new image. So I'm going to click in here, and we got our little dog, and I'm going to click open. And there he is. I'm going to upload without crop in this case. So here he goes, and there he is. He's on there, and he can be moved around, and he's not going to, he's going to allow the background to show through. So this could be a really good way to put little added extras onto your site. So notice that when I said to you about when you go into Pixabay, that you go to that option of transparency because it will cut them out. Now, if you want to cut stuff out yourself, you can use the magic wand that I showed you in Pixlr, but you can actually go around and cut things out using some of the tools in Pixlr. So let's go and get an image of a dog with kind of a blue background or something. So I'm going to clear the filters for this, and we're going to choose something that's, what I'm looking for here is a dog that hasn't got a lot of stuff going on in the background, because that means more work when I cut it out. That will be clear in a second. This dog here is perfect for it. So if I click here, it's mainly a dark color, and he's quite clearly contrasted against the back. So the magic wand is going to work perfectly here. So I'm going to click download. For this particular one, I'm going to do it at the highest it is, which is 3000. And I'm going to click download. That's downloading here. I'm going to jump into Pixlr now. I'm going to create a new one. So I'm going to go open image, and I'm going to go and find that dog. There he is. I'm going to click open, and I want to leave it is very large. Resize it before you start editing to save memory. So you can put it on the size. I think HD is going to be fine. So I'm going to just leave it as it is, HD there. So let's click apply. That's the image. Remember the control minus on the keyboard to zoom in and out. And we're going to use the magic wand and see what result we get. So I'm going to come in here, and we might need to change this tolerance. So the tolerance is how much close to that color that you first clicks. Notice the crosshairs where you click. The first time you click that, the tolerance is the tolerance around it. So what happens is it looks at that sample and it goes, is that tolerance close to it or further away? If it's further away, it doesn't select it. If it's close to it, it selects it. And the tolerance is based between 0 and whatever the maximum for this particular one is, which is 255. So it's 0 to 255. So I find setting this on, leaving it on the default of about 32 works most of the time. So I'm going to leave it on 32 and I'm going to click once. And that tolerance is not fine enough. So I'm going to set this on 16 now. So I'm going to set this on 16. I'm going to hit enter and I'm going to reselect. So I want to just deselect first of all, go to select, deselect, got it set on 16. I'm going to click and that's much better. Now I'm going to use the shift on the keyboard to add to my selection. So instead of selecting up there, I'm going to use the shift key, hold the shift key and click in here. Now I've cut it out. That looks good. And I'm going to hit the backspace. Bang, I've cut it out. So now I'm going to deselect. There we go. And I've got my dog cut out. Now inside here, you can really play around with this stuff because I can add a new layer if I wanted to and put a color underneath him before I've even left this place. So let me just show you what the feather does as well, because feather is a really powerful thing. So I'm going to actually use Control Z to undo a couple of these moves so I can just show you what the feather does. So let's zoom in quite a bit here and I'm going to put a color. I'm going to put a layer behind this. So I'm going to go in here and choose an empty layer. That's going to appear here. And I'm going to use the magic wand. So I'm going to deselect magic wand. I'm going to use the fill bucket here. The fill bucket, I have a color selected red here. So I'm going to leave that as red. And then I'm going to drop with the fill bucket selected red into here. Bang. Now I can drag this below this layer and then the little dog's going to appear, but it's got red underneath it. So I've dragged the layer order. So I'm now going to select this dog up here and go to my magic wand again, which is set on 16. We're going to look at the difference of what feather does when I've done this. So I'm going to click once in here. I'm going to then just hold the shift key and just select up from here. Just get rid of some of these little bits and I'm going to hit the delete. Okay, and then I'm just going to deselect this so you can see what's happening. So I'm going to use the Control and plus key. This is actually quite a good cutout. But if we zoom in really closely here, guys, what you're going to see is you're going to see it's really cut out and it's really sharp. This is actually a really good cut down here. But what happens when I use feather? Now, feather basically creates a slight feather when you cut stuff out. So it softens the edges, it anti-aliases the edges. So let's zoom back out again and let's go back, Control Z. And just to make it really so it shows, I'm going to set this quite high so you can see a real, I'd never put it this high normally, but I'm just putting it up here so you can see the effect of it. So I'm going to hit enter here and now I'm going to cut it out again with the feather added to it. Let's hit the backspace and deselect. And I need to redo that, I think. Sorry, guys. I'm going to need to go back and just deselect because it's applying the same settings. So I'm just going to deselect, go back to the magic wand, make sure the feather's on there, click in there, hold the shift key on there and delete. And what we have now, if I deselect, is a really soft edge. Do you see that edge? It's really soft. Let me zoom in. Whereas we had it really sharp before. And that's because we've got feather on. Now I find like setting it like 49 is just miles too much. It's just too much of a feather. You just want a slight little bit of feathering inside it to make it look real. And by adding feathering, what you'll do you remember like seeing those things that like montages where you cut little newspaper bits out and you stick them in the paper over the top of each other? It's very sharp, that paper, and it looks like it's cut out and pasted on, which is an effect. But when you're when you're doing photo retouching, you definitely want to have a little bit of feathering so that it looks natural on the background that you're putting it onto. So that is you know, just a standard technique that retouchers do to make sure that things look like they're part of an image rather than they're stuck on. Okay, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to do this the way that you should do it. Let's just go back a few. Okay, that's good. I'm just going to deselect this and I'm going to change my settings. So I'm going to change this now to something like, on this one it's a little bit higher than it is on Photoshop. I'm going to put it on 8. So it's very small and I'm going to hit enter. And now we're going to go for the final cut. So I'm now going to use the magic wand again. I'm going to select in there. I'm going to click on this area holding the shift key. Oops, shift key. Okay, nicely cut out. A little bit more there, I think. That's good. Yeah, just go around, check it's all sharp, and then I'm going to hit the backspace. So we've got this new feather of 8. Let's hit that. You might have to hit it a couple of times. If you see anything going on in the background like this, and just hit that backspace a couple of times. Okay, that's good. Right, let's go in here. Let's go to deselect. And let's look at it now. So if I zoom in on this now, control, hold the control key, hit the plus, we're going to have a very slight amount of feathering around the edge. And this will make a massive difference when you're actually exporting something out. So I'm going to export him out now as a file. So I'm going to go and turn this one off so that I'm not exporting the red background. But that's how you could export a background behind it. I could just come down here and save that, save it here as a JPEG. And I'm going to be doing it as a transparent because it's all about transparencies today. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to export a quick export image as a PNG file. That's going to download here now. And I'm going to jump back into my site. I'm going to load it in. So I'll put him into this area. So I'm going to go into my little images, go upload image. Let's find our little cutout dog, which is that one, not that one. Yeah, we remove that background, click open. And I can even go in here and just change this because I don't need all that information around the outside. So I can just come in there and just use a little bit of crop inside here to crop it so that it's better. And then I can click crop and upload. And hi, Phoenix, good to see you. And there you go, you've got your little dog in there and he looks like he's naturally in that kind of area. Might have wanted to put a bit more feathering around, but you can see you can do that really quickly. So that's how you can get these kind of effects. Now, if I save it and we go to our little dog page and I hit the refresh, you know, you've then got that floating image on the top. So this gives you real flexibility when you're working because it means you can go and change some of the images. Notice how they've kind of scaled and it's all working responsively. But you have this ability now to come in and change the background. Like, for instance, if I wanted to come into this page, hit the gear icon and change the background overlay to a black instead of a white, then you're going to have your images nice and bright on top, you know, and they're not going to get faded down by using that, by putting it as part of the image, for the background. So that is how it can all work using that. So any questions, guys? Because I know I've been rabbiting on quite a bit on this. I've got 6 of you on here. Phoenix is on here. So yeah, so I'm going to show you now. I'm just going to stop the share because I want to show you, I'll send a link out to a media creation video that we did on our YouTube channel. That if you want to know more about this stuff, it's all there and goes into a lot more detail because it shows you how to create animations, which, you know, everybody loves. And I'm going to also be showing you something else, media with Canva and Pixlr. So I'm just going to flick this across here. And let me put that in there. So this is an actual video on it all. Hi, Judy, you're back again. Judy was in the first session. So good to see you back. Right, so I'm going to put the link in here. So this is a video for media. And let's put that in there. And you've got that. And there's also another one in the actual, one of the workshops that I did for custom certificates and all of those things. But Yeah, that's the one, creating media and cool images. Yeah, this is the one you want as well. So I've got two, there's two in here. So if I give you these, they've got everything you could possibly want in there. So Phoenix is great. She's asking questions. So how do we set the background image to stay put in a particular way on mobiles, the right half in the middle? Okay, so responsive behavior. So at the moment, what happens when you have an image in the background, it'll actually cut it in, and you could set an image in a row, just as an image, and then you could force the image to go full screen, and then when you're bringing it down, it would come in on itself. But you can't then use some of the assets over the top. Now, you can do this using advanced coding techniques that I'm not going to get into, but at the moment, that's the way that it works. And in fact, that's the way that it works with most WordPress sites and things like that, where you have a big background image and it doesn't scale, because basically the background image holds the content. So as it's coming in, the content's in there and you've got a background image full width, as you bring the screen in, that image would get smaller by the height, and then the text or the containing information would then run out of the image box. And so that's why it's pretty common practice for you to just go in on it. So if you want to create an image in there full screen that doesn't change, you're going to need to add it as an image and set negative values in the margins to force it out. But be very careful, because if you start using things like text in there, not what we call live text, and meaning that it's part of the image, then as things scale down, you can't control the size of that font inside that image because it's part of the image. And that's why best practices, we always say, use live text. So you can do it. That's the work way around it, Phoenix. That you probably know that anyway. I know you're just asking the question because people would want to know. Yeah, as Phoenix says, yes, it gets messy fast. Yes, the background image content gets cropped off or misaligned. Yeah. I find it really amazing that you're doing all this training. Really appreciate it. Judy, you are welcome. We love to teach you guys how to use different softwares to actually make your sites better. And remember, when possible, we try to use free software. So I just want to jump in back to what Phoenix was saying about that size, and I want to screen share it with you so you can see. What she was talking about with that particular thing. So let's go and share this. So yeah, here we go. So if I bring this down, if you look at the image, you notice it's cropping the image in. So it's set, but remember, like, the size of this image is the size of this image, both width and height. So if you start to bring this in, if I was to bring this right down to the size of here, the image would only fill up this part of it, because it would in ratio, it would compress down with it. So that's why we do that, because then it always contains the information and you don't lose the image from the background. So there is actually a good reason behind it. And you'll notice that that happens a lot on parallax effects and things like that you're using probably in other sites like Wix, Squarespace, WordPress, all of those. So you can do it. You'd have to put an image in there. Be really careful though. I've asked for the ability to be able to set it so it's max width, so you can control it. So maybe it uncovers part of the image as it goes down. That's another workable around it. I've also looked at the responsive behavior of certain things with the responsive behavior of Zenler site. It works a bit like a bootstrap system that is basically a series of boxes. So as let me come out of here so I can sort of show you with my hands. So if you've got one row, two columns, so one column, second column, when the screen gets low, when it comes in, that box drops underneath. And that's how the responsive behavior of Zenler works. There is times when you don't want that to happen though. If, for instance, you might have something like a little icon in a box and then a little bit of text, the behavior will still drop the icon underneath. which is right in the way the responsiveness works. But I would like to see it that you have the control to say to that row, don't be responsive, stay as you are, because you're fine. You know, at the moment, the system just looks at it and puts it straight into the responsive behavior so it doesn't break. There are ways around it, of course, but and it's probably why Phoenix is asking the question, for if she's doing these bullet points and things, she wants it all just to come down in size. But you know, there's good things and bad things about every system, and it's just making it work for you. There's always ways around it, and I'm quite happy to answer questions on that if you've got a specific problem. And I have done in the past. I've shown people how to get around those problems for responsive behavior inside of Zenler. But that's how we can do that. So, you know, really quick, how we can create this lovely little my dog training site, how we can create this nice little logo. And of course, that logo, that same logo can be used in your site. So if you're going to brandings, you would then go across to upload the logo to it, go into there, and then you upload or grab it from the media library if it's already in there, which it is down here. And you can use that transparent. And what's good about the transparent PNG file is that if you change your header color, right, from white to black or red or blue or green, it's going to show through underneath it because it's transparent. Whereas if you use the solid color, then you're always going to have that square there, and you're going to lose the flexibility of being able to change the header color because it looks better against the page. So transparency is really important. So I thought I'd focus quite a lot of attention today on that, just so you kind of understand the process. So you now know you could create something inside Canva, export it out, bring it into Pixlr, use the magic wand, cut it out, export it out, and bring it into Zenler. So it's you know, you could do it all in here. You could actually use the text tool in here and do it on a transparent background if you get familiar. But I'm trying to think of a system that's going to be the easiest way for you to do these things. So that's what I've come up with. One solution of a million. So before you start saying to me, oh, but you can use this program, this program, this program, I'm just giving you an example. I don't personally use these programs. I use other programs to do my stuff, but I'm trying to think of a way for you to be able to do it easily without spending a penny. So guys, that is all about media. Yeah, so Phoenix has said, yes, please. Rose, please don't break and stack. Well, they will have to break and stack because that's how the Bootstrap systems work. You know that. But it would be good to have control. What I thought would be good control is like to have a little button, a little switch that you can switch off that says inline or responsive, and be able to turn and control each of the row blocks. That would be really cool, because you'd have that ability to be able to leave it on, or you'd be able to leave it off. I'd like also a little tab on there to flick on that says switch blocks around, so that instead of putting that block under that block, that actually puts that block under that block to give you even more control. If we had those three things, we would have that total control in there, and we wouldn't have to do any workarounds. Now, the team are aware of this, and remember, we haven't brought out the new page builder, so I know a lot of things are going into that already, so that's something to be really excited about, and that will take it just out of the park with this sort of stuff for the page builder, because we already love the page builder. We just need these little tweaks to be put in place. Yeah, so Phoenix agrees. Yeah, I know. I think I've talked to you about this before as well, Phoenix. So Phoenix is a UI developer, so she knows all about this stuff. And she asked some challenging questions, but we love those because it gets passed to the team and then they have to sort it all out. we just say what we want, so it's quite good. Right. Okay, so coming up to 4 o'clock now, so I'm going to have a little break and then we're going to move on to the next part, and I want to show you, well, I'm going to go into, if there's any questions, write your questions down, because I'd like to do a bit of an open Q&A. If not, I'm going to jump straight into building. This is the last half. You know, I had this from 5 to 6, and I was like, right, well, to finish off, what I'll do is I'll build a course and we'll look at all the pricing options. So maybe a little bit too much, but I've already got stuff made up, so I can show you quickly how you can put a course together. I'm not going to fill out all the curriculum, but I will go over certain elements of it with specifically to look at the pricing options and things. There are lots of pricing options in there that people might not be familiar with, such as initial payment and things like that. And I know there's been some questions on the group as well that I've got in my memory banks, so I will be answering those questions as well as they come up. So I'm going to have like about 10 minutes, 12 minutes, and I'm going to be back and we're going to get on with the next half. So if you have any questions, I will be jumping on them. So yeah, Phoenix, I'm sure you've got some more questions that would help the group as well if they're answered. And Phoenix is great because she answers loads of questions. She helps a lot of people out, as do a lot of you guys. So it's good. Hi, Tracy. It's good to see you. Hopefully I will jump into that quick question in a bit. Yeah, you put your questions down, Tracy. Try and put them down in the next 10 minutes, then I can answer them when I get back. And I will just stop for now, just have another little sip of coffee, and then I will come back and we'll get on with the next part of the course where I'll try and build a course and do all the pricing options and see how it goes. So I'll see you in 10. Hi guys, back again. I can see there's a few questions coming, which is brilliant. Remember, A Day with Zenler is mainly about the questions. Although we do feature a schedule of things we're doing, it's more important that we answer the questions that come in because we're here for you and it's all live. Just before I start, I just want to show you, normally I'd be not on the last Friday because obviously that's A Day with Zenler, but if I can get out surfing, I will. But we've got some really gnarly weather coming our way. And tomorrow in particular, we've got winds of up to about 40-45 miles an hour with casts of 14 to 16 foot waves. Obviously not going to be out in those. In fact, even today is really bad. So I just want to show you a little webcam of what's going on my local beach. So this is my local beach at the moment. As you can see, it's all washed out. Look at this. There's some, but it's just really bad. Now we have a pro surfer that's actually goes out there in these kind of conditions because he is more like a fish, to be honest. And he might well be out tomorrow in these crazy waves. And I will try, if he does get out there, I'm going to ask him. I will try to get some video of him because it's pretty impressive the way he's going through these waves. So just thought I'd show you that to just sort of show you what's going on in my neck of the woods. And let's get on with it. All right, so questions come in. Let me just show you what's going on. Right, so let's have a look. So we've got a question from Tracy. She's got a question here. I understand it. She's put, hi David, question please. I produce a newsletter which I make in Canva. So to make it pretty and keep branding, I only have the option to PDF or download as images. So I've made a page on my site to send people to, but have uploaded newsletter as images, which is a bit clunky. Also, they are not able to download it. So yeah, this is really quite an easy one to fix. If you can have your Canva account, just download the front page, then that's going to be the way to work. So that is a question coming, and I'm going to start this now. So this is a Q&A session and we're building this course. So I will be able to do all this in the time. So I've also got a question at the same time from Zoe, and she says, my beta course is going to teach live on Zoom. And so she got a course, and inside that course is going to be Zoom recordings, so place recordings inside for students to access. Is there a way of having that course visible to those who purchase it? That course visible, having that course visible for those who purchase it. Well, if they have bought the course, then it is visible for them. Is that right? I aim to teach my course around 5 times a year and only want students to see the course they have enrolled on and not see past courses. Oh, okay. Okay, so you could right. So this is a little bit tricky. There's a few ways that you could do this. If you don't want them to see past courses, then the only way of doing it would be to delete the material in the course and say no longer available, and then create the new course, clone the course, then create the new course, and then they buy into it, and then it would just appear. The other way you could do it is you could mass unenroll them. So you can set, as long as they're quite clear in your terms that you've said to them that this particular, say March 2022, you will be removed from the course, you have access till then, and then the new course starts and you will be informed of it. Then you have the ability to go in and unenroll the students and then delete the course, because you can't delete a course with active students inside it. Okay, but you'll need to make sure the terms and conditions are clear with them to be able to do that, to avoid any kind of lawsuits or anything like that. Not that it's going to come to that, but you know, it's best to vie on the side of safety. So that is 2 ways that you could do that if you wanted to, Zoe. So hopefully that sort of makes sense. And we have Anita. Hi, Anita. So we've got and hi Zoe, because you're new, you've just come on here as well. So how can I make it so that members of my 1-page bundle membership end up on the member access page? I think created a member access link myself on the welcome page. Well, they'll be able to get to the member access page when they go into their account, they log in and they go to my courses. As soon as they click on the course, they're going to go into the course access page. So that happens by default, because once they've bought the course and gone through the sales, the checkout and the thank you page, then when they go into the course next, they're going to end up on that one page site. And you've used the term one page membership, so I'm guessing that you worked from the training that I did on a one page bundled membership site. So that's good. Yeah, so I think that answers that. So we have, when I change the welcome, login appears, page not found. When I change welcome page login, it appears as a page not found. Make sure the page is published. Okay, it's you probably saw me do that earlier when I had a page that was unpublished. It goes, oops, page not found. So make sure that your page is published and then it will show. Easy mistake to make, but that happens. So let us, I'm a bit blurry, so I'm going to not me and myself, but my web camera. So I'm just going to change my little web camera settings so that hopefully it makes me a bit sharper. Let's see, that should be better. Okay. Right, much better. Okay. Right, and we're going to build this course now, and I'm going to answer your question, Tracy, in a second, once we build. So a simple course. To show you the pricing option, I can't use this course that I'm going to show you because I haven't set up any of the payment gateways. So I'll be jumping into the ye old famous Surf Dude site, which you've probably seen loads of times. So I'm going to be changing that. So we're going to jump straight into this, create the course, and then I'm going to go through all the pricing options, and then hopefully quickly I can show Tracy how to do that PDF and then link to that PDF download. Really simple, Tracy. So you're going to love it. It's not going to require much work on your side to do that. So let me go and screen share and create the first course. So I've got this in the dog training section. So here we go. So I'm on my admin section of my course, and this is the site here. So I'm going to go create course, and we're going to call it, let's call it Anxious Dogs. I'm going to dedicate this to Bones, and that's Kevin's dog. Okay, so he'll be happy. So let's create the course, and there we go. So we're straight in. When you create a course, it takes you straight into the curriculum. The curriculum is the main page where you build your content out. So you might have your videos and all your other stuff. Now, what it'll do is it will first create a section. So it'll create one section for you that's ready to have. It's a container for all the lessons that go in there. So we're going to call this Getting Started. And I'm not going to put any content in here because I really haven't got any. It doesn't matter. I can just go through what you can do, what you can't do. So I'm going to go in there, save that. Now, inside of a section, I can put in a lesson. So if I click add a lesson, it's going to go what you need to do. You can label this anything you like, click save. And inside there, we have the option to enable this as a free preview. Free previews are really good because it allows people to go in, not buy the course, but they can preview that first lesson. Generally, a lot of people do it as a promo. So they're saying you get this, you get that, you get this. So it's good to do it as a free preview. You don't have to pay for it. You can just click in there and get it. So if you check enable free preview, that's what happens. Now, if you're creating a lesson and you're still working on it, you want to set it to draft. If you set it to draft here and click save changes, you're going to get this little draft button come up here. And this means that it will not show, even if you've got a curriculum of like 100 lessons in there and you've got 50 of them set to draft, none of those 50 will show. So it allows you a bit of time to finish up that lesson. When you're finished and it's ready to go out into the site, and this can be good for people that you're bringing people into, they've paid for the course and you go, right, week one, we're going to be doing this. And then you've got all your lessons and stuff sorted out, but they're all made into draft. So you go, week one, we're doing this, and then you make it undrafted. Okay, then they can work through it. Then week two comes, and I normally do this when I'm running live. So I say, right, now go into the course, and now lesson two will be opened. I just go in there, click uncheck the set to draft and it opens up for them. So it's almost like you're adding content all the time, but it's already there. You're just opening up and controlling the user flow. There's a few ways to control the user flow. One is to use the draft method. The other one is to add an assignment and make it compulsory. Now, guys, if you're using the free version, you're not going to have access to assignments or SCORM HTML, but the rest of these you have the ability to add in there if you're using the free account. Next, we've got set to compulsory. So if you've got set as compulsory, it means until they've watched the video, they're not going to be able to move on to the next lesson. So it's another way of controlling them. This does not stop them entirely. If they got the play bar on the video and they drag it right to the end and release, then they'll go on to the next lesson. So it isn't a full way, but if they're not watching the videos, then what are they doing there? You know, so it's another control. And also we have the ability to turn on discussions. So you can turn on discussions per lesson. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off and we'll just add a bit of text in here just for this dummy course. So I'm going to come in here and go, you need to do this and that. Just anything you like, just a simple WYSIWYG editor. You have control of HTML if you are a coder. You can also drop images in there, add tables, add links, and just do all the basic things in a text editor. Now, of course, you know, we have the ability to add video, audio for like podcasting. You have the ability to add a PowerPoint, and we show true PowerPoint slides inside Zenler. Lots of others do not. We have the ability to have a PDF viewer in here as well. Text we just looked at, you can add custom code if you are a coder. You can also add downloads. So if you've got a zip download or a download to a PDF or an image or anything else, you can put that in there. You can set up little simple quizzes, little simple surveys. And as I said, you can upload SCORM and HTML packages directly to the system and assignments. So that is our lessons. That's all the media types that you can put in there, which is pretty much all of them. So once you click save to that, then this is saved. We haven't published it. You can see there's a big green button that says publish. So this course is not published. It's not active yet. It just is waiting for you to publish it. So you can work on it freely without anybody coming into the site. So under course details, let's work through these tabs very quickly. So under course details, we have the ability to add a course card. So you can go in here and you can upload an image. You can use Canva or something. Let's just choose one of these dogs in here. I'll just choose that one, I think, and click open. It's going to give me a little crop box at the size. I'm going to get crop and save. And now I've got a little course card in there. Now you'll also notice that in here, you can actually design this in Canva as well. You can remove it and you can change it if you want to later. You can also go in here and change the URL of the course if you want to. You can just change this and make sure you update, and then that URL will be changed inside there if you need to. So you've got full flexibility of changing the title, subtitle, changing instructors. If you've got another instructor in there, such as I've got Rakesh in there, I could put him as one of the instructors of the course. And you can also set categories up. So if you've got categories for certain things, you can set categories up and put them in there and filter them based on categories. Now inside the course details, we also have a few buttons in here. One is to make the course price hidden. So you might do this if you've got your course prices set up and you don't want anyone to enroll yet. You might want to enable the hide price until you decide to flick it on. We've also got make course featured. So there is a featured block that you can drag into the pages, and that shows featured courses. So if you make that a featured course, it will drop into there rather than the standard course block. We also have make course secret. So people can still get to the course, but it just doesn't show on any of the pages. So you can, that allows you to send a direct link out to your students to join, maybe before anybody else, before you actually turn that off and make it public. We have enabled certificates in here. And if you go into our training at tutorials.newzenler.com, you're going to see that you have some additional certificates that you can load in. If you go in and you've joined the NZ Masterclass bundle at tutorials.newzenler.com, and you go into the Zenler Extras and you go into the Zenler theme packs, if you scroll down to the bottom here, you're going to see a few extra certificates that we've given you that you can edit and make your own. So you can personalize them up. But we do also also have some default ones in here. So if I enable a certificate in a course here, you can see these default certificates that can be generated. And what it will do is generate the name and the enrollment date and what course they took. So they can download that when they finish any of your courses. So that is certificates in there. We have set enrollment limit as well. So if you wanted to actually, so I think this might be good for you, Zoe. If you've got a certain amount of students you want to come into, you want to set an enrollment limit, you can do that. So I can set a number of enrollments. So I can set maybe 100 people to be in that course. This is especially important when you're running lives because you might want a set number coming through that course at the same time. So we've now, this is a brand new feature, by the way. So we've got this new set enrollment limits on this. Now we can also set enrollment limits on the pricing plans as well. So that's important for you to understand. They also have here what's called show course progress between lessons. So as you go through a lesson, you get a little bar and it's a little course progress for a student as they're going through it. Then they'll see that little progress bar going up and up and up. And if you want to remove that, you can actually click in there and turn it off. Remember to hit update when you're finished with that. So we've looked at the curriculum. We're now going to move on to the students. So inside the students, it's going to take you to the students in the course. I haven't got any, so they don't appear in here. And you're going to notice it opens up as a new page. So if you have any students, they will appear in there. You also have automations with courses as well. So if someone joins up, you can set an automation sequence of emails that go out to them. You can base this on enrollment or lesson or course completion as well. So you have the ability to send emails out based on where the user is inside the course and or whether they finished the course or enrolled on the course as well. Generally, you would get an enrollment email come out if you bought a course saying, welcome to this course, click here to access your course, etc., etc. So you can enable those all in there. We have drip here. I know Phoenix was talking about drip as well. So you can drip content going through this. So with drip schedule, you can easily time release your content so that not all of it is available immediately after enroll. So this is another way of controlling the flow of your students through your course. Remember, I've already mentioned that you can control the flow of students by using assignments or setting the things on draft. Generally, you do that if you're hand holding people through a particular course. But if you want it automatically to go out, so when someone enrolls, that first content is immediately available, but after that point, then it comes out every week or something, then you can do it. And I'm going to quickly show you that now because I think it is important. So to do it properly, I need to just add another section to this course. So I'm just going to add a quick thing here. Let me just save that and I'll just add a quick lesson in here just to give you an idea of what we want to do. So a control, something like that. Let's just click that and then set it as a text. Text for lesson. Let's click save. Good. So it's in there, should be all good. So I can now go back to drip. And now because I've got this, I can actually show it to you in action. So if I go into drip now and I click enable drip schedule, you're going to see that it's going to give you the sections in here. Now you can say after enrollment, or you can specify these to come out on a particular date. So if you've got students coming in on a particular date and they're all enrolled, you could then specify a date, or you could just have them come in and then that date is when that content gets released. And you can also send a notification email out to them as well. So for instance, this first one will probably be open straight away, but the second one might be in 1 week's time. So I can put weeks in there and save the changes. And that way that content will only be available for week 1 after the days for enrollment. You see here, notification emails. So you go into notification emails and you can set that up as a sequence. So you can see there, handling your dog. It's automatically appeared in here 1 week after enrollment. Notice that it's already done it automatically. So it sets that up for you. So once you make that live and you've edited all of this, then that will all work perfectly. So I don't want drip on this. I'm going to disable that drip sequence there. And we're going to move on to the pricing on that as well. So next we have the pages. So this is the sales page. This is the sequence. You'll notice it's a little bit like the marketing funnels because it is a sequence that people run through. They'll run through, they'll enter your sales page, then they'll be excited to buy your course. They'll then move on to the checkout page, and then they will get a thank you page saying thank you, whatever, and then they'll have access to the course access page. Now, it's important to realize that the only page that is actually private, the only two pages that are private, are this page here, the thank you page, and the course access page. And the course access page is the access page where people go into. This is what Tracy was talking about. She wants to put a PDF image and link to a PDF inside the course access page. So I'll be showing that in a second. So let's go into the sales page now. You can preview it by hitting this button. You can also copy the link for sharing. So if you're sharing this course out to someone, you'll share the sales page, because you probably share the sales page. I either share the checkout page or I share the sales page, and that way you get them coming through. But remember, if I shared this at the moment, because the course is not published, it would not work. So let me prove it to you. Let me go copy URL. I haven't published the course. Let me go into a new incognito window. I'm using Chrome, and let me hit that URL. Oops, page not found. This is a really common problem, and it all stems from the fact that the course is not published. So let me now just publish this course. So it said failed to publish this course, not sure why. Probably because I've got no pricing in here or something, but there's certainly something going wrong. Let me go in and just edit the pages first. So let's go through this. So I'm going to go into the editor now, and when that loads, we're going to quickly do the page. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run through this really quick, guys. And I'm going to go into the site, and I'm actually going to save some of the custom blocks from the pages that I created for this test page up here. So I'm going to go to edit here. And once I'm in here, I'm going to save those blocks so I can drop them into the page. Let's just close that down. Close that down. All right. So that's all ready. That's my sales page. Just going to wait for this one to load. Yeah, so as Rakesh has mentioned there, under certificates, people were having problems with them, and we have done extensive videos on it. But as usual, because there were problems happening with people not really realizing or not making sure the width and the height of the actual document was the right size, some fixes have gone in to alleviate those problems that people were having. So nice one, Rakesh. Good to see you here. And I'm going to save this first block out. So I'm going to go in here, save this first block out. We're going to call it dog top, just because I can't think of anything else. And I'm going to click save. Now that's saved in my custom blocks. Guys, if you're not on the Pro and Premium, you haven't got the ability to do it. But don't worry, you can always go to this side and copy this code and put it in there if you need to, and you're not using the Pro or Premium version. So I want to do the same for this block down here. And I'm going to call it dog form. So let me go dog form and click save to that. Okay, so now I've got that in there, I'm able to just drop those into the page. So I'm going to leave this page. I'm going to go back to the editor. I just need to refresh it because otherwise my blocks will not update. So I'll just let that load, and then we can do this. And when I get onto the course access page, Tracy, I'll be showing you how you can do it with the PDF, right? But it will take like literally 2 minutes. And we're building these pages. So we're at 4:30 now, should have enough time. All right. So we've got anxious dogs. This is the standard kind of layout. So I'm going to just change a few things around. These are dynamic blocks. So they're actually pulling the content in from the name of the course. Wherever you see these yellowy mustardy color, you can see that these are pulling content in the course curriculum there. So this is your standard sales page. If you haven't got a video, you can delete these out. It's not a problem. Go in there, delete it out. I'm going to do this quickly in here. We've got a course summary, so you could write about the course. Just for the sake of this, I'm going to delete it out. And I'm going to be dropping that block in. So I'm going to go into the block down to the bottom to custom blocks. I'm going to go, and there's my one there. I'm going to drag that across. And what I want to do is I'm going to grab that little button, which we've got here. and I want to drag it up. Might not let me actually. Okay, let me get rid of a few things. So that enrolling course will go to the next thing. So I'm going to go and put a button in there. So it's going to go to the checkout page. So I'm going to copy that. So it means I can delete this block out. I tend to delete this block out. It's just because I like to control things. It's a problem I've got. So I always like to build my own things from scratch. So I'm going to go in here and we're going to go to buttons. I'm going to go to button here. And I'm going to go and choose my style, which is going to be that kind of greeny color. So I'm going to go into here, lozenge. I'm going to come into the settings for this here. Got it like this. I'm going to come into here and go enroll in the course or membership, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to go choose action. I'm going to go to link, and then I'm going to put that URL that I copied, which is the checkout page. Yep. And once that's done, that's good. Then I'm going to jump across to style. I'm going to change the style of this. I'm going to put it into more of a kind of greeny blue color. I like that. That's good. And I'm not going to do much else with it because I just don't want to get too carried away. All right, so you can see I've now put that, I've used that block from the other side. Any blocks that you don't want, then just delete. These are just default blocks that Zenler puts in for you. We expect you to highly edit these pages because after all, it's your course. And then we've got the course there, and the course price will show when that's all ready. So I'm going to just save that out. Make sure you SEO all your pages as well, best practices. So we've done that. So you have the ability to jump to another page via here, or you can also use this. So this is quite good. You can jump through the pages here. So once you've saved this page, you can go on to the next page. So we're creating our series. We've done the sales page. We normally drop a video in there as well. Just talk about the course and what you're going to be doing, put more information, make it look lovely, spend a bit of time on it. And then people then opt in and buy it, and they'll go through to what is the checkout page. So I'm not really going to do a lot with this checkout page. There's not really a lot to do, but one thing I definitely need to do, you're going to see here, we haven't got any prices set. That's because we haven't set any prices yet. So we haven't got onto that section of it. I'm just showing you how to build a course really quickly. So I'm just going to delete these out. I'm going to leave all this stuff, but you can delete as much out as you want. I'm going to save this now. I'm going to get the SEO come up, make sure that you SEO it. For the sake of this video, I'm not. And we're going to move on to the next part, which is the thank you page. So this will be after checkout when they've bought your course. They will then go to the thank you page, and you can put whatever you like on here. This page will stay up for a bit, and then they will go to the course access page automatically. So let them go in there. So I think I'll leave it, but you can also add an upsell. So if you've got another product, you can click on there and you can add an upsell to this area. Of course, you can highly configure this as well. You know, you can change this, the buttons and whatever you like in the system. It's very, very flexible. We go background image. I'm going to grab my dog there because we like him. And I'm going to go and put it into a tinted white there. So it looks lovely. And click save. So that's my little thank you page. Again, you can change all the colors for all these things. Every part of Zenler is very customizable, extremely customizable. And then finally, the most important page after they bought, which I guess the checkout page is the most important, but the actual course access page for the student is the most important. So this is the designed course access page. If you guys have seen any of the how to create membership sites and what you can do, you see that you can change things a lot. You can bypass the curriculum completely. I know one person in here has said they've done a one-page bundled membership. So they've probably got rid of the curriculum and just got a page with the content on it. So this is my course access page. So again, it's highly customizable. So I can go in here and delete or add things. I've also got a review block down here. Now reviews are, you won't see anything in here, but the student, when they go in here, they'll be able to leave a review and then it will appear wherever you've got the review block within the course. So this is it. So then you click through. Once the user's in here, they can click through. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go and preview this now. So I'm going to jump back to here and we're just going to preview this course. So I'm going to go into the sales page as a visitor. So this is the sales page. We just set this up. You can see a bit of detail. It's got no pricing in there at the moment, but don't worry. So we click enroll in course and it takes you to the checkout page. Of course, we've got no pricing, so we can't pay for it. But you see how it's looking. So then I can go into the thank you page and have a look at that as well by just jumping across. It looks good. Then I can check the course access page. That looks good as well. So I want to move on quickly to Tracy before I move on to showing you the pricing options of how you can actually export something out as a PDF and then upload it. So I'm going to go into Canva now. I'm going to stop my share for a second. We will be jumping back to this course and I'll be going into a new course to show you the pricing options. But that is how quick it is to set a course up. Pretty lightning quick and all in the same place. You're not jumping all over the place. So I'm going to quickly now just go to my Canva account. So I've stopped the share for a second whilst I find a good PDF designed to output. And I might have to jump to another page to do this. Right, let me think. Okay, so I've got a few bits in here. Right, so this is a playbook that I'm going to be releasing with the new live Sundays. So this is what I'm going to use, I think, to just demonstrate to you. So let me share my screen again and show you Canva. Let's go into this. So here we go. So we got this course creators playbook that's going to run alongside the lives that we're giving out. There's a lot of content in here. And I just want to do what Tracy wants to do. Tracy, you still there? I hope you're still there. Give us a hi. This is your bit. She's gonna say hi in a minute. She's jumped away. I want to produce this. What Tracy's doing is producing these out as images. And that's really slow. Tracy's here, good. Right, this is really slow. So she's been producing them out as images. Well, two reasons that's a really bad idea is one, because they are all separate images. It's better to have a PDF. So she wants to basically have an image of the PDF front page like this, and then have the ability to download the PDF. So we're going to do two things here. We're going to download this as a JPEG. I'm going to select JPEG and I'm going to go all pages down here. And I'm going to turn only page I want to output is not all of them, but just page one there. And I'm going to click done. And I'm going to click download. Now we're going to jump into our download folder. I'm going to show you what I've got. So showing folder, there it is. Okay, that's our PDF cover page. So let's jump back in here now and let's download the PDF. So I'm going to go to PDF, download PDF, PDF standard or PDF print. PDF standard is smaller. And we want to do all the pages. So we've got all the pages and we're going to click download. So it's going to come up here. It's going to take a little bit longer. It's also got there. So that is it. So I'm going to look in my folder now. And just to make things easy, guys, I'm going to get rid of all this rubbish. Let me delete all that out. So we got the course page and we have got the PDF all in my download folder. Okay. So Tracy, you with me so far? Right, she's with me. Okay, sorry, I had to flick off. Okay, so you've got this. So what we're going to do now is going to put this into the course access page, which is what you wanted to do. So I'm going to just click in here and I'm going to set up a new block. I'm going to create an empty block. And we're going to, inside of this, I'm then going to add a row. I'm going to do one row and then a 2-row underneath, because you might have multiple PDFs you want to give out. So we're going to go in here, and we're going to go heading, and we're going to go, I'm going to call this, let's call it newsletter for, what month are we in? November 2021. Okay, so that's what we've got first of all. So I'm now going to come into here. Whoops. Click here, and I'm going to do this 3 columns, 1 row. I'm going to add an element. I'm going to go to images, and we're going to upload, and we're going to go to our download folder. There it is, and click open. And we're going to go upload without crop, and bang, it's in there. And this is exactly the same way that we do our tutorials on tutorials.newzenler.com. So, except we're not linking to a PDF, which is linking to a product. Now, we can put more information on here if you want, and you probably would want to, Tracy, I'm guessing. So you'd probably go in here and put download November's newsletter. And then what I like to do is go PDF and then put the size of it. So whatever the size of that is, and it's 1.2 megs. So I go 1.2 megabytes. Okay, and I can see that by mousing over it in my window. If you look down the bottom, it gives you the size. See? It's always good to put the size there. It allows people to know. So now we need to do the link to it. So I'm going to quickly save this, and we're going to upload it into our media library. So again, make sure you SEO the pages. I'm going to now jump over to our site again. I'm going to go into media library, and we're going to upload the file. Now, Tracy, this is important. If they are part of your course, they have registered. So there's 2 things we can do with giving out links to people. One is for logged in users, and that's registered users or people that have bought your course. And the second thing is not. So you can open it up so anyone can view it. I just had to turn my light on because it's really dark here. So we're going to select the file to upload. And this, in this case, is a PDF. I'm going to click open, and we're going to click upload. And inside it will drop into here. This is in my media library site, media library. Here is the PDF. We're going to go into here, which is share file, and you can see the options. We have anyone with a link. So if you're putting this on a public page and you want anyone to download it, you would select anyone with a link can download. If you only want people that have bought your course or registered on your site to have access to this, you would put logged in users with this link can download. And that's the one that we're going to use. So I don't know which one's best for you, but you can choose. So in here, we have this little chain icon, link icon, and we're going to click this and it will save the link. So I'm going to jump back to the page now, and this is where it happens. So I'm going to select across here and drop the link in here and click insert. Now I can do the same for the image. I like to do it on both. You can go in here and on click, go to, and there we go. Put the link in there, click save. And that is it. Let's preview it. So let's go in here and preview this page. Here it is. So if I click this now, what's going to happen? Watch down the bottom here, left hand, when I click it. There we go. It's downloaded. If I click that one, it will download. So they've got access to it. So it's only in the course access area. So that answers your question, I think. So we're on to pricing. Now, Phoenix has got a question, content drip question. Can we drip per lesson only if they're in the middle of the module instead of dripping the whole module? No, we've only got, if you saw earlier, we've only got those 2 things. I know Rakesh is here. So if Rakesh can answer that, is that something that's coming at some point? Tracy, Brilliant. Glad that's helped you. That's good. So you see how easy it is, and you can build them up inside there. So we do the same with the tutorial site. We just link to different events. We do exactly the same thing. So if I go to the tutorial site, you can see we've done pretty much exactly identical, apart from we haven't linked to a PDF. Here we go in here. So these are just linked through to different pages or going to a live class. In this case, that class. So it's just takes you to the enroll button. But that's all we've done for that. So it's exactly the same thing. So Phoenix, I think Rakesh is around, so he might answer that for you, but I don't think so, because you only have those two options within the course itself. So if I go back to the course here under drip, we have that enable drip schedule, but you can only do it from, it only gives you this option inside here for each of the modules. So I understand it'd be quite good to have that per lesson, but if you are, in what respect are you using it? Are you controlling, you want to control the data, or you want to control the people coming through the lessons? If you're manually doing that, just set them to draft or open one up, then open another one up. I know it's a manual process, but we haven't got it so it breaks through onto as a lesson thing, but that could be something that comes along. I think it's a good idea, because you could have it that you've got handling dog, and then you can have the lessons sort of indented so you know exactly which lesson. Yeah, it would be interesting. That's a really good point. So Tracy's put, I guess I can do several in this page and they can access past publications. Yeah, absolutely. You could have an archive down the bottom. You know, if you wanted to, you could put it into another page that's, no, it's probably not best to put it into another page, but only people that are logged in can get access to it. Keep it in the thing, maybe do another section down the bottom saying archives. If you wanted to sell those, you could set a new course up saying course access to archive newsletters, and then sell that as a course. So depends how you want to work with your structure, or whatever your sort of game plan is for this stuff. So I'm going to jump into pricing plans now. So I'm going to jump into the famous, that's it with the dog training site. That needs to be all reset for Sundays live. But I'm going to be jumping on to Surf Dudes now to run through the section. So I've got the old famous Surf Dude site, which I should be able to log into. Just okay. And we can run through some of the options. Now, this is a live site. It's still in pre-launch, but it is a fully working site. And I'm just gathering leads for this particular site. So there is stuff in here that people can look at, free stuff, news, but the free stuff leads to lots of marketing funnels to tempt people in, and obviously got some news blogs in here as well that will link up. These were all kind of created based around Kevin's blogging challenge, and they have your courses in there as well. So I have some courses already made up to sort of show you how we can set up the pricing. Now I do have integration set up on this under, I think it's PayPal, I'm not sure. So I should be able to set up my payments. So I'm going to go into the pricing section. This is in the tab. This is the only one we haven't looked at. And I just want to run through some of the pricing options that we have. So the first one that we have here is free. So we have free pricing in here where people can come in and they can buy this course for free. And you can have multiple pricing options inside the pricing for your course. So this is important to understand. You could have one-time purchase, payment plan, subscription. You could build more up. The only caveat is you can only have one currency per course, right? Because I know that's a question that's been asked. So free is free. It's pretty easy to set these things up. You just click the box, click next, and you're just given here. So I'm going to call this free course. Now you can select what you want to be for the buy now button. So I'm going to put buy now in here. And you can set a short description. You can also set bullet points, set enrollment limits as well. So if you only want to give out, say, 10 free seats, you can do that in there. And then then it will close off. That pricing plan won't be accessible when you hit that limit. You can also set the availability as well. So you can set an enrollment start and a close date. So that if you're setting this in advance and you want to close it after a week, you can do that. And or you have the course validity here. So courses will be available from the date of enrollment till the days given here. So we don't tie you down to just this enrollment start date and this enrollment close date. You can also do course validity, and you can also set it to tiers as well. So if you've got a course and it's got 4 sections in it, you might have people access one section for $10, be able to access section 1 and 2 for $20. Section 1, 2, and 3 for $30 of the same course, and $40 for 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's how tiers work. They open up sections based on whatever you want it to be. So you can set tiers in there as well. So pretty easy. You can also make it the most popular plan as well, and you can add a community to it as well based on the price. This is quite an interesting concept, because if you've got a course that you've set up and then you have you've got the same course, but you want to open it up and have a community, and it's a bit more expensive because you're going to be managing it, then you can do that. You can set $1 to $50 gives you access to the course. $75 gives you access to the course and the community, so that we can discuss ideas, and you can set it up like that. So you can do that per pricing plan. So when you click finish, it sets it up for you, and it sets it up as a pricing plan in there. So if I preview this, I'm going to preview the sales page for this. Hopefully I've published it. You can see it there. So we go enroll in course, and you can see that you will have, I'm enrolled as admin, so it's not working. This is a common thing that happens. Always test in incognito. So I need to open up another incognito window, go into it, and we'll have that option for free for that course. Enroll for free because it's there. Okay. So let me just close that down again and close that down and go into the next one. So we're going to add a new pricing plan now. We're going to do a one-time purchase. This is just, as it mentions, a one-time purchase. So you can set your currency. Remember, this will have to run through all of the pricing plans. You can't change it per price plan. So I'm going to put in this one at 100. Let's say 1,000, just in case someone buys it. And we can call this intermediate one-off cost, something like that. Even intermediate. Oh, I don't know. I can't spell today. Sorry, guys. Right. And by now, again, we've got these options in here. Set tier. You've got availability, set enrollment limit again. We can click finish to that. And then we've got this new one. So let me just check this out in incognito. Just going to grab the checkout page link. Okay. And there we go. So we've got our 2 options now. We've got one off 1,000. We've got this free option here. Notice that my pricing stuff disappears with the free option, but I have Stripe set up for this. So you can buy that free Stripe. So let's go and check out the rest of these. So we're going to add a new plan. This one is a subscription. So under the subscription, we have more options. So under here with the subscription payment, we could say £50. Then we could say we want that as monthly, and give it a name, monthly plan. And obviously description by now. Now, this is where it's quite good. You can set an additional fee. So if you set an additional fee in here, it's a one-off fee. So if you were saying that you're going to hold a live, the first one I'm going to hold a live. So instead of £50 a month, this first one is going to be an additional £50 a month on top, making it 100. Then you could set that in there. And that would then be an additional fee. From that point on, it would then be 50 a month. So that's quite a good option to put in there. So what else do we have in here? If I turn this off, We also have free trials as well. So we have a free trial day. So people can sign up and they can have a trial day. So let's say like a 15-day free trial, they can put 15 in there. They put their card details in there, but they don't get charged until the 15-day free trial is up, and they can cancel before. Okay, so they get that. You can also set that with additional fee as well. So again, that works in the same way. We could set an additional fee up, so at £50 there. So this would be 100. It wouldn't be charged until the free trial is finished, which is 15 days. So that's how that works. So if I click finish for that now, and we check it out in incognito, and you're going to see how that works inside here. Let's just refresh. And there we go. So you've got 50 for 15 days. Oh, that's because I put the 50 for 15 days. And then you've got £50 a month after the trial finishes. So you can charge for the trial. Sorry, I got that wrong. We can charge for the trial. So you're charging for that initial trial. Let me go in there and 15-day trial. So if I don't want to charge for that trial, I can put that in there, and it's free now for 15 days. Click update, come back, run this, and here it goes. So it's 0 for 15-day trial and then £50 after. So you fill out their details, they're not charged until it hits that 15 days, so they can cancel before. So lots of options there. Now, these same options that I'm looking at for the subscription are also inside the payment plan as well, which is our last one, what you have here, which is the payment plan, where you can set, if a course is $1,000, you could set $250 to charge a month. Let's do something like that. Let's just say 250 in there. And let's say installments, we want to do 4 installments. We want to charge them monthly. And we go monthly plan. And you can also set up your tiers and availability inside here as well. And you can set up an additional fee in there as well, as you can see. And I thought we had the option for trials in there, but it doesn't seem to be there. But you can set up this one time. So I guess it's because it's a payment plan. So you would probably use subscription to do that. So let's click save to that. Let's finish that one off and jump in and see what we've got. So again, I'm going to jump to my incognito window. I'm going to hit the refresh, and we'll have that plan come up there. So 4 payments of $250 a month. So you've got that ability to set those free trials up. Free if you want to. All those options in there are workable. So let's have a look and see if there's any questions come in here. So I guess I can do sell the newsletter, new income source. Yes, absolutely. I think it's a good idea. There's lots of people talking about old content and they don't want to show it to people. So if you can split it away, remember, although people are enrolled in a course, it doesn't mean that that content has to stay the same. You know, if you're saying like you have a 1-page membership site like Zoe has, then, you know, I'm guessing that she's changing the content in there. So the original content she puts in week on, week out, she can remove that and no one's got access to it. So this allows you to then open a new course up and maybe reuse that content and resell it. Or even if it's old content now, to do it as something like a freebie giveaway, the first newsletter to get people to come into the system. And that might be worth doing, Tracy. If you've got one of your old newsletters, you could put it in there. If it's still relevant, you could actually say, right, okay, well, I've finished with that. I've got my income from it. Now I'm going to use it to actually use it as a lead magnet to bring people in, so that people can see your newsletter and go, wow, this is amazing. It's really well written. It's lovely graphics in it. And I really want to be part of this. And then they go in and they start seeing the latest news releases. Because, you know, if you're writing these things out, it takes you a lot of time and you want to sort of almost sell it per unit. But I think you've got it as a membership site. So they're paying as they go along. So you're making sure that you're covering your time to create this media. And that's what it's about, the time that it takes you to create your media. I always have a stop clock when I'm creating stuff. I've got a few of them. So when I'm working, I work out how long it took me to do something. And then I just have my hourly rate and I times it by that. And pretty much always round it up to the nearest figure. And that will be the charge of the course. So if I've spent a lot of time doing something, then I have to reach like 10 students before I make my money back. And after that point, I know that the time I've spent, I've got at my hourly rate. So I know any money coming after that is just plus, it's just plus money. It's like surplus money because I've worked for it. I've got my money back for it. I'm now making extra money because the course is just sitting there like I have on my Mojo courses, and I'm going to have for my biomechanics course as well. So all good ideas like you were talking. So if you've got any more questions, put them on here. We love questions. I think I'm a little bit early on finishing, which is actually pretty good. I don't know. I'm going to see if any of the guys are around. So 2 seconds while I see if Kevin, Rakesh, Alice. I know Alice is not because she's a bit busy. It was Thanksgiving yesterday. So we are ahead of things. Otherwise, I'm going to jump into something new because we've got about an hour, but I'll have a little break and then I'll have a think of what we're going to do next. Guys, if you want me to show you something, write it down. Phoenix has got a question. Brilliant. Right. Okay. So here we go. Right. So missed one. Right. Phoenix got a good one. So if we add new content to modules or lessons that have already dripped out, will previous students see all the new content at once, or will it be dripped out new to them too? No, they'll see it. So if you've got that content, it comes out after day 1, and then it's day 2, day 3, they can go back and review that content. If you can't just add it in, just the way the drip works, it's a very controlled thing. I never use drip, never use it. I'd rather manually control the group. I'd rather charge more for that manual process than use that drip, just because of what you've said, because I can hold the content back myself. And I have blocks of people coming through. So I like to control that content coming through. But no, I don't know how that would even work, because I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, if I add a new lesson in there, but it's actually looking at the section. So of course, it's when people come in there, they're coming in and they've maybe joined a year ago. So all your dripped content, anything you put in, the time's passed and it's going to be available to them. It's only, what I consider drip really usable for is this way of, and this is why I don't like to use it, is people use drip to get past this 30-day money back guarantee rule. Because if you have 30 sections and you release one a day, then they're going to be like 30 days in, right at the end of the course, before they've received all the content. Now, what I prefer to do is on my terms and conditions page is that if you have watched more than 25% of the course, regardless of how long you've been on the course, even half an hour, I will not refund you. If you've seen under that, I will, up to 30 days. That's how I see it. I understand that some people like to use drip for certain things. Personally, I don't get it. That's just my viewpoint. I like information to be accessible straight away to people. This dripping things out can be a bit of a chore for people, unless you're doing it for a live, like I did run the marketing where I was actually opening content up, but I was with them. I was saying, right, after this lesson, I'm opening that content up for you that we've just been talking about. Then it becomes relevant, because I think if you're dripping content out, it kind of seems a bit, to me personally, it seems a bit kind of guarded. That's my own viewpoint on it. But everyone's got a different viewpoint. That's just what I think. Yeah, so I'm sure you're just thinking of different ideas, Phoenix, of what you can do. But all good. Right, so we're going to have an extra thing. So guys, what do we want to do? What do you want to learn about? What's your concerns? You know, I'm here for you. So I can, this is live, you know, so we can actually just go and do something new. If you put something down, like Tracy had a good one with the PDFs, if you want to see how automations work a little bit more, I can go through that, or any part of the platform that you're unsure of. I know there was things on lives. It might be an idea actually, because I've got Anita was like one-page membership. Zoe was talking about doing Zoom lives. So Zoe, really good. I think I'm going to answer your, because I've got it all together already. I'm going to show you what I'm doing for the course for the new live Sundays, because it's doing, I think, exactly what you want. So if you look at what I've done, you'll understand the process behind it. So we're going to look at that in about 10 minutes. I'm going to just have a little break, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to go through how I've set up my Sunday lives and how I've created it inside a course. Of course, the courses that we've got on the Zenler platform are all free, but they could well be paid for. Yeah. So we're going to do that in about 10 minutes. So about 5:15, we're going to break into that. And that will take us through to the last part of the second session with A Day with Zenler. Guys, you've got any immediate questions, then write them down and I will get back to you on that. But I think this one from Zoe will be quite interesting. I'm really glad she put that in there. Zoe, you're welcome. I'm going to take you through it so you'll understand. And hopefully it's clearer for you, because I've done this sort of thing a few times. I did it with the marketing course, and I'm now doing it with the Sunday Lives because it was successful with that. I thought I'd try it again. So I'll show you what I'm doing and then you'll understand the process. Okay, 10 minutes, about 5:15, and we should be finished at 6 then, on schedule. Okay, guys. Hi guys, back again. Right, so let's carry on where we took off from. So Phoenix has put in here, there are many questions on how to podcast. So you have the audio setting in a curriculum that you can set up. And I think Tracy was in here earlier, Tracy Brind, and I think she did a podcast in hers. I think she had some podcasts, or it was, could have been Shelley that did it, or yeah, Tracy Browning, I think, does it. She has a podcast. So she uses some podcast software. And I think I did a YouTube video on it and how to take that podcast and put it into a course access page, which is basically what you're doing. So that hopefully should answer that question. I'll try and dig out the video for it. So back to Zoe's question, which is quite a good one. And I have the perfect little holder to show you this. This will be the new class that we brought out that is actually private. So anyone can join, and you should join, but at the moment we're running live class through it, and then it's going to go into the NZ Masterclass bundle. So we're running it off of that, and then we put it in at the end once we make it look better and add a few more extra bits in there and things. So I'm going to show you that now. I'm going to run through it because I think it's got everything that we need. Phoenix, I will check for you as well. So if you can't find it, I'm sure that I'll find it somewhere in the hundreds of videos that we have done. So let me go and show you what's going on. And Phoenix, you might want to stick around for this as well, because this will help you. I know you help others with solutions, so this could be quite a good one for you as well, if you have any questions based on this. Now, we are now on the tutorial site. So this is a live course. This is the URL for it. And but you'll notice down here on this course details page that the course is actually made secret, and that is so that it doesn't show up anywhere else. Okay, you can still access it, but it doesn't show up. Now, the way that we've designed the tutorial site is all manual, so we've manually created all these zoned areas that you can jump in and out of. Takes quite a bit of work to do that and to link it all up within the courses. We have lots of courses inside here. I have to be very sensitive with this because we have users' email addresses in there, and I never want to show those, not on purpose, sometimes by accident these things happen, but we're going to try and avoid it. So inside here we have this, and it is the Sunday Live workshop mentorship. And what happens in here is that we are running lives out. So when we run lives out, they will actually populate. Now, because me and Kevin use this site, Kevin runs boot camps all the time and challenges, and he runs things like Zen Chat. It is a little bit harder for us. We've got a balance going. Me and Kevin have got this rapport where he uses one area, I use the other, and it's like we almost don't have to talk about it. It's kind of, that's my area, that's my area. So I know that normally I would run, if it's a class like this, I would run it using live classes, but as Kevin uses the live class block, I use the webinar block. So it is a webinar, but you still, once you're logged in, you can just reserve your spot anyway. And I don't mind extra people coming in on these particular big, long workshops that go on for however long they go on for. So for me personally, I don't mind sharing the link to the webinars and things where people can register to get into that particular live and join up with the course if they want to. So I give people flexibility of both ways. With the classes, Kevin books people into the classes and usually runs, and he likes to have his little unit get to know each other, which I do as well. We have regulars show up, just starting to know the people in the southern hemisphere. So I was covering all the northern before, but it's a really good way to work. So we kind of have this rapport, but if you're running your own site, you don't have that problem, and you can run it from either live webinars or you can run it from live classes. So it would be entirely up to you. Either way, it works. All right. So that's covering that part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how it kind of looks, and then you can kind of see what we're doing. So when you go into this, I'm going to sign up as a student. So I'm going to go into pages, and I have a sales page here. So I'm just going to copy this URL as usual. I'm going to go into incognito, and I'm going to sign up. You're going to see what you get when you sign up. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go sign up for these live free workshops, and I'm going to put my email address in here. Now, I'm just going to stop the share whilst I put this information in, and I click continue. So I'm just going to do this as a test student. So I'm just basically registering up for this now. That's all I'm doing. And just reshare my screen in a second once I've just put this information in. Okay, I can share now. And you can see where I'm up to. Okay, so I'm in here and I'm just going to submit. This is just a test and I'm going to go straight through. Now, this is the course. So what you can see here is what you get. So we have in here these register now. So normally if it was a live class, it would just be booked now, but you can register straight through here. So you click here and I can register into these. We've got one happening on the 28th. So I've hit the register button, then it's going to register me in straight away because I'm already in the system. I don't have to enter anything else in there. It's just put me straight in there. And then I can go to this and I'll get the email automations that are coming out. This is a live webinar. All right, but the same thing would happen with live classes. So if I want to book, you can see I'm registered now. It shows registered. So I haven't registered for this one, so it doesn't show it. So this is what you want to do, Zoe. Okay, so if you want to ask a question, Zoe, put it in there or just watch. So upcoming webinars. So every time I add a new webinar, it drops into here. Now, when this webinar has finished, it will disappear. So it's only the current ones that come up. So after Sunday's one, this will disappear and this one will come up. But I will have recorded this and I will have put it into the curriculum here. So you can see where replays of recorded sessions already completed. I need to change that color because it doesn't really show very clearly. So you can go in there and you can click start and it's going to take you to the curriculum page where you can watch the last replay. So as the weeks go by, that curriculum fills out. For people coming in late, they can go in and watch all the replays and then they can register for the new ones coming up. So I'm going to show you the blocks that are in there, Zoe. So that's the hard bits, just for you to understand what's going on. So I'm going to click back to curriculum now, which takes me back to the course access page. You'll also notice at the bottom, I've got a little bit of information about what you should be doing, how to prepare. And you'll also see that we also have a community that is based with this as well. So if you go into any of these, and you resume it, you're going to see that you can join the community up there as well inside there. So that's how it works. And that's it in a nutshell. So you've got all that stuff in there. Every time you bring out a new webinar, it pops up in here. So it pops up in there. People will register for it. They view it. If they register for it and they miss it, they can come into the course and they can watch it on the replay, which is uploaded about the day after the actual thing's gone out, and it will be in there and they can watch the replay. So that's how they can run through it. So it makes it very good, handy for them to go. And that's why only now on the tutorial site have you got that link that goes to the course. So if you go to tutorials.newzenler.com, you're going to go down here and you're going to go to that page. So if I go join us live in the class, I can hit that. And of course I can register and sign up for it. Now I'm logged in. So if I was logged out, it would take me to the right place by clicking join the class. And then I go through here and I sign up for that. And then I get access to that live area here. So that's how it works. And I think that's exactly what you want to do. So my goodness, brilliant to see. All right, so you can see it, but you haven't seen how it's put together behind the scenes. So what's the difference as a customer to watch a webinar versus Zoom? Okay, so Zoe, we have not what's called not a true webinar. It's an interactive webinar. So you get the little heads come up. It's like if I was to send you the link to this Zoom meeting going on now, then other little heads would pop up in there. And if you've been on any of our live workshops, that's how it works. So that's the difference. With the Zoom version, you get a true webinar experience with the fact that it can just be you and all participants are hidden. Now, there is some big news coming up with that kind of thing, but I'm not going to mention anything else because Rakesh would basically sack me. So I'm not going to mention anything else, but there's no real difference. It's just kind of your participants be there. But if it's a little private unit of group, you really, I think the interactive webinars are better because you've got the people there. You can talk amongst yourself. If you want to just do a live stream, you know, then the true webinar experience, you could stream it into Facebook and no one can join me here. I can just ramble on like I have been for the last 6 hours. And no one interferes with me. I don't even need to answer the chat if I didn't want to, you know. So that could be a true webinar experience, running like keynote speakers, getting people to join me, these kind of things. But you can do all of that anyway by streaming. So, you know, for me, I don't need that. I just use the interactive webinar experience. Now the webinar experience and the live class, they're both exactly the same, but with the live classes, you can actually say that you can, when you select the live class, when you make a live class live, you can actually say, I only want people that are in my course to have access to this live. And that way there's no public link. No one could get in there unless they're in your course. So Zoe, in your particular case, you're not going to be using the interactive webinar. You're going to be using live class. Okay. And then down the bottom, you're going to put that into the course that you've got. And then you'll be using not the webinar block that I'm about to show you, but you'll be using the live class block. Okay, so that's the difference. You won't be using that. You'll be using that. Yes, indeed. It needs interactive. So you're going to use the interactability with it. So that's good. It was Piper saying, no, I don't think. Zenler, my company? No, it's not my company. I work for Zenler. I know because I'm everywhere, right? But no, Rakesh is the boss, and I am a mere minion. as is Alice, as is Kevin. Rakesh is the owner. Okay, not me. I know I'm everywhere, but it's kind of like I'm not. I'm just an educational support for the platform. So can you make live webinars only accessible to those in a membership? Yeah, like I said, you wouldn't use the live webinar, you use live classes. So with that in mind, you've looked at how it works, you've seen how easy it is to register up. So Zoe, in your case, and in your case, Piper, you will not be using the live interactive webinars, you'll be using the live classes. So I'm just going to jump in and show you where that is now. Let me just stop my screen share just in case there's any sensitive information. Okay, so there's not, so that's good. Let me reshare and go into this. All right, so here we are in the course pages. So you've already seen the course sales page, the checkout page, the thank you page. I don't need to go over those, but you do need to see the editable page on the course access page here. So this is where people are coming into, and this is where I put my block in for my live webinar events. You saw those blocks that you can register. You'll be using live class, not live interactive webinar like I am. I'm just using that because Kevin uses the live classes. So inside here now, it's going to open up in the editor, and it's all very simple, guys. You can see we've got just a block here. I just put some text in there. I've got this block here. Notice this is a dynamic block. Upcoming webinars, dynamic. Okay, you'll be using the upcoming live classes block, and I'll show you the difference. So let me just come in here. That's good. Yeah, so that's all right. So you can see that that's automatically filled out as well. So as I add the recording for this one, I'll be putting it in there, and this one will drop off, that one will move along, I'll create a new one. So these live blocks are created, so you know how to create this. Are you stuck so far, or are you okay? Because I'm going to show you about this block in a second. So if you go down to blocks here, you've got this live webinar. This block here is this block. Yeah, so it's the webinar. It's pulling in from the interactive webinars. Any interactive webinars I've got going on, they drop into this block. Is a live class a Zoom? Yeah, these live classes that you're seeing here are done in Zoom, but it's our Zoom. It's part of Zenler. Okay, so that's how we do it. So it's in there, but you'll be using, guys, you'll be using live classes, which is exactly the same. It just pulls in the live class blocks. And you've got two different styles to pick. You've got this kind of inline style, 3 column, and you've got this single line one. You can use either of these. So you'll be using the live classes. So that's all that block is. So when they register, I start my live on Sunday, going into the live area of the site. Let me just do that now. So you know how that works. I'm going to go into live, and under my live interactive webinars, you're going to see in here, these are those webinars. These have already run. You can see all the webinars we've already run. These two, you can see they're already set up. And that is showing these two here. And that's why it's showing in that block. Now you will be using the live classes. Now I'm not going to click that because it's exactly the same. So you'll be using that live class block instead of the live webinar block. And then you set that up as you would normally set all that stuff up, put the time in there, how long it's going to be. People sign up for it through your live class. Then they come in there, you run that when it starts, you run it, you record it. When it finishes, you then upload it back to your curriculum. Okay, so you're going back to your curriculum and you're going to upload it into the curriculum for that course. So hold on, let me stop share again whilst I jump into the course and curriculum. Okay, so then I would be uploading it here. So I'd add a new lesson and I put a whatever we're doing next, can't even remember, planning your site and courses. And I would put that in here, planning your site and courses. And that was delivered on the whatever the date is. And then people got access to that replay. So that's how it works. So can we add categories to webinars and live classes? No, we can't, but you can. Oh, hold on a sec. No, we can't, but I know what you're thinking. Can we split it out so that it's so that a live webinar is pulling into different areas? No, we can't at this point in time, but you can set a course to be in a category, if that helps. So if the course is a container, it could be put into a category, if that helps. So if you were doing that, I know what you're thinking. If, say, we had category A, category B, category C, we could put them into a containing bundle, and then we could have category A as one course, category B, category C. So it could be dogs, horses, and cats. So everything on dogs could be in there. And because it's part of the bundle, that's how you could access it. So it's taking it a stage up from this. It's just taking a series of courses and putting them into one bundle so that you could then create that kind of foxed category look and feel about it. So yeah, so that's exactly what you wanted. Yeah, so it's that is how you could think about it. So in my membership, when I use the live class block, will it say live classes? What I do live isn't really a class. Yeah, well, you can change that. If you go into your site, go on to site languages. Hold on, let me stop share again. Sorry, it's really hard, but this is a full current, this has got a lot of people in it and I have to be really careful. So underneath languages, you can go and check for any instance of the word webinar, or we can remove it from the string. I don't think it's in there actually as a string. Might have to talk to Rakesh about that. If you're around, Rakesh, can you answer this? Generally, you can change the language of things like upcoming webinar, and you can put it into a string in here and it finds it. This is under language, by the way, guys. But it's not finding it. So I think that that is set in stone because you can't change it inside here. I don't think. Let me check. They're always adding fixes. So that's something that definitely could do with being sorted out. So Rakesh, that's one for you. Maybe make a note of that in there, Zoe, and then Rakesh will see it in the thing if he doesn't watch all the video. So go to site languages, you might be in there. Yeah, exactly, Phoenix, just what I showed you, but you can't. So that is definitely something that needs sorting, because we like people to be able to change the languages. In fact, I think I had that problem because I didn't want the word upcoming webinars. I wanted it to be mentorship, or I wanted to get rid of it completely. You can get rid of it if you use CSS, but we're not going to get into that now. You can hide it. So you can't change it, but you can hide it and then add something at the top using just a normal block like this at the top of that. So that's how you could do it, and then hide that with CSS. So definitely a really good question there, Zoe, for that one. But you understand the idea. Do you understand it all? Give us a thumbs up or a sad face just to let us know. Yes. Oh, great. Okay. A big yes. All right. So there we go. So we've covered it. We've covered how to do that. So if you're thinking about it, there's lots of options and things you can do. If you haven't seen already, make sure that you do check out the Ask Zenlers. So I'm going to share my screen to the tutorial site, and I go to this all the time because we do contain pretty much 90% of questions asked are actually in the tutorial site. I know it can be hard for people that don't use the platform too much, or the help side of the platform too much, rather than they ask questions in the Facebook group, but all the answers are around. And if you go into resources and you go down to Ask Zenler, I've made a nice little easy way of like these common things. So I've got like hot topics on memberships. So inside here, you have membership sites, and you've even got a little Canva thing in here that tells you how these things work. So this was, before you ask, how did you do that? This is embedded from Canva. Canva give an embed link, and I just put it in there, and that's how it works. So you can go through and you can see exactly how memberships work and how tiers work. So using tiers for membership sites, and there's accompanying videos with all of this stuff as well. So if you're really into expanding your knowledge about membership, especially if it's a membership site, because I think with a membership site, you've got to be really careful how you plan it, and not doing something the right way at the beginning can cause a lot of problems. So I always say the most flexible way of creating a membership site is to take a course, create a bundle, put that course in the bundle, because that way you have this added flexibility to just have it as a normal course. So people go into course access page of the bundle, and then you can put whatever you like in there. And when they click, they can go through to the course. But not only do you have that ability, that later on, if you decide to extend the membership site, you can add another course, drop it into the bundle, and all of the people that are in there can get access to that if you want. If you don't want them to, you can just apply to existing rather than not apply to existing, and then only new people come in and get access to that. So that, for me, is, if you're running a membership site, is the most flexible way of doing it. And it's called inside here, it's called creating creating a bundle membership, which has been mentioned, and that is the most flexible way of working with memberships, I feel, because it gives you a lot of ability to push people around to different places. Also, another thing is that if you are running it as a membership site, think about removing the registration. So, you know, like most sites, you can go in and you can just register to be on the site. And the problem with that is they're registered to be on the site, and then they have access to like all these other things behind the scenes. Like if you set a page up for logged in users only, then those people that have registered, not paid a penny, get access to that page. So I always like to turn off the registration with that. And I've got it here, turning public registration off. An easier way to turn the registration off is to go to your registration page and just delete the registration block out and just create your own form. That way, when they fill it out, they will be added to your site as a lead, so they won't get access inside your site. So that's another thing to think about as well. And it's all covered here in this Ask Zenler bit with this nifty little slide thing that we put together. So it's using bundles, exactly how it works. Prospects coming to the site, sales page. They then get access to many courses in a bundle. And they also have access to a course access page and private and course access pages within that bundle. So you can see how that works. So I've tried to demonstrate this with some graphics as well. And you can find that all under resources and then down Ask Zenler. You haven't even got to register to get access to that. You haven't got to register the NZ Masterclass bundle. It's already contained in the complete guide to Zenler, but it's also in here as well for quick access. So inside here as well, you've got things on page builder related issues, like course creation related issues that people have had, marketing related as well. And we've got setup and integration as well. So adding custom domains. I know Phoenix knows a lot about this because she's sorting people's problems out all the time on setting up domains and custom domains. It's a big subject because there's so many different hosts. So all with each host, it works slightly differently. So it's understanding that. And I know Phoenix has done a really good job helping people out with that stuff. So we have in there GoDaddy, we got cPanel. I think we've got 123 Reg as well on the system. And I need to add domain.com as well, because that seems to be a big one people are using. So Piper, okay, take care of your kids. Thanks for joining us. So we got Zoe again. So Zoe said, can people access the live class from the block, or do I need to email the Zoom link or use the Zoom link on the block? So Zoe, if they've come into your course like I've just shown, and you've got that live class block, they can just click book a spot. If you've got new people coming in and you want them to run through the payment process first, I take it, then they're going to need, if it's a live class, yeah, we're not talking, for your case, we're not talking about live interactive webinars, we're talking about live classes. For the live classes, they're going to have to have joined the course. And if they're in the course, that course access page will have those lives, and they can click book a spot and go in there from there. So in that case, that's how it works. So you don't need to send the Zoom link to them. They can just go in there, and it's never a Zoom link, it's a Zenler link. Okay, it's from that Zenler page that you get that link. If I didn't show it, let me just jump back and show you where the link is. If you needed to, you shouldn't need to because they're as part of the course. So let me go into the live interactive webinar and then just flick this up for you. Okay. So the link for like this video running on the 28th, if I go into here and edit it, and we come down to pages, the join link for this particular one, but they need, if it's live classes, they need to be in the course to access it, is this link here. Yeah. Now, because this is a webinar, anyone can access it. So if you're going into incognito and I've given them this link, you can go in and you can register up by clicking here and entering your name and email. But with the live classes, only people that are in the class are added. So you add the course to whatever it's going to. Just click the block. Yes, absolutely. Zoe, that's why we created it. There was a demand for a quick way for people to be able to quickly be able to access lives and not have to run through the process every time of putting their name, their email address and all that stuff. So live classes, that's how it works. But it also works the same way really with webinars, because if they bought into the course, like this course, this mentorship course, and those blocks come up, if they're already logged in, they just click it and you just saw it just comes up with a box and then bang, they're just registered and it goes green, and they see that in their dashboard. Someone else coming along will open it up. If they haven't registered, it will show register now. They just click it and it goes there. With live classes, it says book your spot. It doesn't say register or anything. It just says book your spot. So another reason to use live classes. Always test this stuff, Zoe. Go in as a test student, do it in incognito mode, check it's working. So do the webinar first, set it up, test it all works, clone it, and then set the proper one up. Okay. Do not run the webinar and then think, oh, now I can use that same webinar. Once you've run a webinar, it's finished. You need to set a new one up. That's a problem someone had as well. That, in fact, a few people have had it, where they've started the webinar to test it, and then they've gone to the actual event to go, yeah, let's go live, and then it hasn't worked. So make sure that you are testing the system first before you activate it live. And that's why I didn't click that live button, because one, it's not 15 minutes before, and the other reason is that it will make it devoid as well. It won't work. So be careful. Be really careful. But yeah, oh, thanks, Phoenix, giving me a shout out. Yeah, all day today, and my voice is holding up thanks to Howard, the charisma coach. So he's really been helping me. I think there's been less ums and ahs, when I'm not sure, because I just get into the zone. Reason we didn't have a lot of people joining us today was, one, I was on holiday, so I hadn't planned anybody to come in. I needed like a week or two before just to get people prepped and ready to come in there. I don't want to just put them straight in there on the spot without finding out what they're going to talk about and those sort of things. Has some exciting things coming up though in future lessons that I need to talk to Rakesh about, but I've got a few industry leaders in that are working for companies such as Google and these sort of things that might be coming in, not going to say for sure. And they'll be coming in and talking about how their products can work with ours. These are all people that we already integrate with, nobody outside, people we already integrate with, to show how powerful this platform. And you can ask them some really technical questions, because if you don't, I will. And I will try and bamboozle them, trying to get the answers that you guys will need. So how often am I live, Zoe? Well, this runs the last Friday of every month. So it's a day with Zenler, run for 6 hours. Generally, we do have a lot more people on exploring, but people are busy. There's a lot going on at the moment. Obviously, Black Friday running and all these things today. Hope you've got some good bargains. So yeah, end of each month, but we run the Sunday lives. Personally, I run the Sunday lives every Sunday. It's at 10 GMT time, 10 a.m. GMT time. But I also do things like live builds, which we're doing on Friday. Next Friday is a live build with Mina. She does like therapies, transforming therapies, and she wants to know how to take some. This will be interesting to you actually, because she takes payments for live one-to-ones. She's using Calendly. So I'm going to show you how to integrate Calendly in there, an actual working version of her site. She's already running it. She just wants to set a very simple site up. She doesn't care too much about the design. She just wants to get it functional. She's already got clients and she wants to run them through the Zenler system. So I'm going to be showing her how to do that and how to set up live events and things like that. So it's going to be a really interesting build. Normally the live builds are all about design. That's my thing, but working out people's problems with the platform is my forte. So that's what I like to do. I like to try and think out of the box. And of course, you guys help as well, because you're always giving me ideas on how to do things and giving solutions as well, such as the funnels that we did today with split branching funnels. That was all came from a user on Wow Wednesday, and Rakesh saw it and he said, look, this is really good. Can we show how to do this? So I showed how it was done in Pages. And then today I showed how we can do it with funnels. So we're on all the time. Phoenix knows about all the time. Oh, David lives on the lives. Yeah, I do. So yeah, I'm around a lot. So yeah, I try to be only to support you though. You know, if you need support, I'll jump on there. If I see any posts in there and I think, oh, you know what, I can do a video on that, then I'll try and do a video just to try and help you. And, you know, obviously the community help each other immensely, like people like Tracy and Phoenix and loads of others. You will help each other, and that makes our life a lot easier because you're using the platform. So guys, we are coming up to 10 minutes. So I might end a little bit early, unless you've got any other questions, just to finish off. I'm going to end this live at 5:50, and then I think I've got Chinese coming, so I'm going to have Chinese, and that'll be nice. Right, so you got any more questions, or are you all okay? Also, I want to point out to you, just before I go, I need to mention this because Alice will hit me with a big stick if I don't, is Alice runs webinars. So you guys that are running, that are like new to the platform, or you're thinking of upgrading to Pro or Premium, definitely worth going to see one of Alice's amazing webinars. So Alice normally comes on our Day with Zenlers, and what she does is she talks about all marketing side of things that she's really into. So, but she's also running our webinars. So our webinars are for users that are going to, or thinking seriously about upgrading to Pro and Premium, are just on the edge of their seats, like, does it do this? Is it going to work? Is it going to fit for me? And also she runs onboarding schedules. So onboarding where people have just come onto the Pro and Premium and just need help with the new features that they're coming into. So I've put the link into the chat. You can already see it. So if you go to webinars.newzenler.com, you're going to see that you have this live webinar area and this live onboarding for Pro and Premium members. Do make sure that don't use it as a way to ask questions about what you're trying to do. She'll answer if you can do it. She doesn't get into in-depth detail. She just says, that's all right, this will work for you. We can help you with this. But you can't, for the Pro and Premium, it's a bit more ask a question and she'll show you how it kind of works because you're already a Pro or Premium member. But if you go to webinars.newzenler.com, you can go in there and you can sign up for her registrations and she will guide you through. Normally the webinars run from 1 to 2 hours. Depending on how many turn up for the actual live slot, but it's really well worth going to, because Alice, gives a different slant on the training to us guys, and it's really nice sometimes to have that female influence on the platform, as most of our course creators are actually female, which is great. You're the ones going out there doing the online course creators, so be proud of yourself for that, for sure. So brilliant. All right, so I'm going to end this now. I can't see any new questions coming in. I will answer any questions that do come into the chat. So if you put #replay that you're watching on the replay, then any questions coming there, we'll check them out. Me and the team will check them out and try and answer them as we're going through. So that is another day with Zenler. So thanks again. I've had you on this while busy with other things. See you on Sunday. So yeah, busy live. So you just got to hear me screaming out while you're cutting the vegetables and things. That's all fine. Nice one, Tracy. Good to see you here as well. So we'll hopefully catch up with some of you on Sunday for 10 a.m. GMT time. You saw that course link. I'll also put that course link into the chat if you want to join me for any of the lives that I do on Sunday. It'd be really good to see you guys in there for sure. And I'll put that link in there so you can register for that course. Okay, so I'm going to do that now just before I go, just in case I forget. And then you can sign up for it. I think there's about 172 people in there. It's still early days. We're only starting really the full one on this Sunday. And it's definitely, it will take you from absolute beginner to Zenler Guru by the time I've finished with you. You'll probably be fed up with me by that stage, but if you want to join me, watch the replays, that would be fantastic. So guys, I'm going to say goodbye and have a fantastic weekend. If I see you on Sunday, I see you on Sunday. If I don't, have a lovely week, and I'm sure that we'll see you at sometime soon. Remember, office hours is on Wednesdays. So Wednesday we got office hours. I'm trying to remember if it's morning or afternoon. I think it's morning, 10 a.m. GMT time on Wednesday. Me and the team are here. So Kevin hosts that with me and Rakesh, and Alice joins us for office hours on Wednesdays. So as you can see, we always are doing lives and staying in touch and keeping our fingers on the pulse of what you guys want to achieve with this amazing platform. Okay, guys, so take care and I'll see you soon. And that ends another day with Zenler. I'm just high-fiving myself because there's no one here. Okay, so guys, can you high-five me? Yeah. All right, take care and I'll see you soon.